residential mortgage lending, from people buying homes, needing purchase loans, to refinances.
Awesome. Well, thanks for meeting up with me today. I appreciate it so much. So I would love for you to tell all these listeners out there how you got involved with Driven.
Well, so my way of Driven might be a little bit different than some. So Brandon and I were coaching with John years ago. I can't even remember how long it's been at this point. And as we were on our journey of coaching and learning how to scale our business, Driven marketing at some point had been created, and it just organically at some point became a really good partnership because it made sense for the needs that we had at that point in time.
Good. So that kind of leads me to my next question about what was going on in your business at the time that forced you to start looking for database management or marketing, or I guess what kind of pushed you over the edge to say, you know what, I really need to use Driven services for marketing, not just for coaching?
Right. Okay, that's a great question. So at the time, and it's probably, I'm going to guess 2 to 3 years now that maybe we've been with Driven marketing. It's been quite a while. So at the time back then, we were at a glass ceiling, if that makes sense. Our business was booming. We had as much business coming in that we could handle, probably more than we could handle. That was essentially the problem. And so as we looked at the business, it got to a standpoint where we tried to understand, okay, one, how do we scale this to grow this even bigger? But yet, how do you scale something when you're completely out of time? I mean, it was this problem that we're like, is there even an answer to this? So how do you scale, but how do you also scale back the amount of time that you're putting into your business? So grow the business, scale our time.
Okay. So what did our team implement for you? I know it's changed. You know, we've been working together for quite some time, like you said, but what were kind of some of the main things we put in place for you to help out and to make a difference for you?
Sure. Yes, you're right. There's been so many different things. So I hope I touch on at least the majority of them right now. So we did everything from once we had the database uploaded with you guys, luckily you guys did all the heavy lifting on that. That was so nice to take all that data and scrub it for us. And then we implemented things like looking at the client journey. So they might be receiving certain voicemails or text messages early after we've initially talked with the clients, getting a handwritten thank you card as well. That was crucial so that it had that personal touch. And then strategically put in things like video, email, additional follow-up text messages or voicemails as we worked with them. Because in our industry, the client journey sometimes could be, we talk to them, they find a house, and we're in that new house 30 to 45 days. There's other times that your client journey might be, 6 months, right? It just depends on how active the person is at looking for a home or how long that home search takes. So we had to create, or Driven really created this journey that was able to sustain any sort of time frame.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that the client journey too, just that wording, it really makes it come to life, what that looks like. So tell me a little bit about, I know one of the most exciting things we did for you was your movie event. Exciting in the fact that you had to book a few new theaters, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that event that you did?
So I had experience, I think 1 or 2 years before we met with Driven, doing this movie event. And it was so cumbersome trying to email and call clients, and just tons and tons of work that would go into trying to book just one theater. I think back in those early years, I was trying to fill about 150 seats, and it was so much work, tracking RSVPs, calling people, following up, reminding them, everything, you name it. So with Driven, I had no idea it could become such a simple event. So we had everything from creating each year, whatever the movie is that we choose has an awesome graphic and title. We've chosen to send it out by text. I think that's something we've come to realize is super impactful with texting out the invitations, because it created this really, really simple, easy environment for the client or our partners to be able to click on a link, drop their information in there, RSVP for themselves or however many other people are coming. And then not only that, but we were doing save the dates. We were doing the formal invitation. I think we did 1 or 2 reminders, and we segmented it just to the people that said they could come to the event.
Okay.
So it just made it so easy to follow up and stay in front of our clients that way.
Yeah. And that the year we first started helping you promote it, I think I remember you having to get at least 1 more additional theater, or did you have to get?
Oh, you're right. You did ask me about that. You're right. I think we did 2 theaters last year because the response was overwhelming. And I didn't even imagine that by changing it to the text in this platform that we would have so many people wanting to come.
Right. Yeah.
And then I think the last year or 2, we had to actually set a cap on it, a max, because of an overwhelming response. So it was 3 theaters this last year.
That's so awesome. That's crazy. So tell me about how Driven has impacted you personally. I know you've taken on a different role, and would you say that Driven has anything to do with you being able to step out of the marketing piece of your business, or has it played a role at all in what you're able to do now?
Oh, that's hands down. That's such an easy answer to say yes to. Going back to that initial problem that drove us to using Driven in the first place, when I said that there was that glass ceiling, by implementing things and making it more autonomous and or automatic, I should say, it allows a person to completely step out, because the amount of time it would take for me or another person to step in and get out all these text messages, send the emails, record videos one-on-one. I mean, that is so time consuming that it's like a full-time position when you do it that way. And when you send it over to a system that's already in place, I mean, it's literally could be the click of a button or sending an email to your account manager at Driven and saying, blast this out to this segment of people. And I mean, it's done incredibly quickly, and you're reaching all of those people so many more times than you could if it was just one person.
Yeah. So true. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I know you're kind of out of the business now. And we have someone other than me managing and being the marketing concierge for your account. But I do see, and I don't know if you know this at all, but there'll be times I'll get an email and I'm CC'd on saying, hey, can you pause this text message? We're getting too many responses. We're getting too busy. So I don't even know if you know that's happening or not, but I think that's a really great thing that a partnership that we've had is we're able to turn it up or turn it down depending on how busy Brandon is and how busy your company is with getting responses. So
I think the form of communication, the way that Driven has crafted the messaging, right, to make it seem like I can tell you the end user, whether it's a partner of ours or if it's a client of ours, they truly believe they're getting an organic text that's sent just to them. Convinced of that, because the response rate is so high. And so you're right. The going to your point where we're having to turn things off and on seems to happen almost every time, which is a good problem to have. It tells you that the marketing is working really, really well. You're right. When things get too busy for an entire team to be able to handle, the ability to just shoot a quick text or email and say, pause, like we'll let you know when we're caught up. That's crucial, because it would have turned an opportunity into a catastrophe if we hadn't had that ability.
Right. Agreed. I love it. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I just have one last question. I guess, what would you say to someone who's considering using Driven services? What would you say to them?
Gosh, I want to take myself back to like a few years ago when I think naturally a person has a lot of reluctance with 2 things. One, they have reluctance for investing in something. They have cost barrier with anything they invest in. And they also probably have like releasing the control. And I can tell you that, or tell this person that if you find yourself at that glass ceiling where you are unsure how you can grow your business or how you're going to scale yourself out of a business, until you invest in something and release control, you will never, ever break through that glass ceiling. I can promise you this. And I can also say that, I mean, after years of using this service, the mere fact that we would never even consider partnership without Driven has got to just volumes, because our business has continued to grow substantially. So to us, it's just an absolute no-brainer. I mean, always invest in yourself and, be open to scaling. And I think this is just one avenue of scaling your business.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Stephanie. I so appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.